military plane crashed into the backyards of homes near Lake Worth. Naval Air Training said the jet came up from Kingsville before crashing, and both pilots ejected before the crash, but both were injured, one in critical condition. 3 homes were also damaged, but fortunately, none of the residents seriously hurt. Both pilots are now being treated, and local utility crews are working to restore power that was knocked out in more than 40 homes after one of the pilots' parachutes was tangled in power lines. The Lake Worth Fire Chief Ryan Arthur said it could have been much worse. And back here in Lubbock, your morning commute may look a little different tomorrow. The city announcing multiple road closures and construction areas to repair the pavement first on MLK Jr. Boulevard between Broadway and 19th Street tomorrow. That'll change traffic flow and put up some barricades up near the work zone. They say that project will take about 2 months. And they're also constructing a fire line tap that'll close the west shoulder of Avenue F south of Broadway. Traffic will be allowed in both directions, but the lanes will be narrower. So if either of these are on your way to work, they encourage you just to leave a little earlier or take another route. And the city not just shutting down those roads, they may also start shutting off your utilities if you're behind on your bills. Lubbock Utilities temporarily paused shutoffs for late payments due to a new billing system they implemented over the summer, but they're not cutting any slack anymore. Starting tomorrow, they'll start shutting off electricity and gas again, so if you're a little late, they encourage you to look into setting up a payment plan or looking into a variety of financial assistance programs they have. If you need a little help, you can look into the city's partnership with Neighborhood House. They're offering funds for residents' utility bills, and the Lubbock County General Assistance Fund also provides support to residents and children or with children or disabled adults in their home, and local veterans or surviving spouses can find help through VetStar. All that information is here, and you can learn more at mylubbock.us. All right, now let's get a look outside. Madison, what can we expect for the week?
Well, we're expecting some cooler temperatures heading into the week, but let's just appreciate what we had today. Our nice sunny Sunday where we got to soak up a little bit left of that summer feeling. Taking a look outside of Doppler wind radar right now, we saw a fairly clear day today with temperatures mostly sitting in the mid-90s across the South Plains. In Slayton right now, beautiful clear night. If you have a good TV at home, you might actually be able to see some stars and maybe a comet going by on this sky cam right now. It really is one of my favorites just because it does really express when we have a clear night how beautiful it is. Taking a look at our hour by hour right now, we're going to be seeing temperatures drop into the high 70s by midnight tonight, slowly trailing down to the low 70s and upper 60s by the time we reach tomorrow. And enjoy the warm temperatures for tomorrow because they will quickly be snatched up by that cold front that is moving in. You can see that temperature drop. Sunny and hot conditions for Monday, and then Tuesday the temperature dropping almost 20 degrees due to that cold front, and just in time for the official start of fall. I'll have more on your full forecast on that cold front coming up.
All right, Madison, thank you very much. Very excited for that cold front this week. And the weather was perfect today for a long ride into Lubbock. The West Texas Strong Memorial Ride and Rally brought together bikers to ride all the way from Levelland to the Peace Officer Memorial here in town in honor of Sergeant Josh Bartlett and Sergeant Sean Wilson. Sergeant Bartlett was tragically killed in a SWAT standoff in Levelland in July, and Wilson was shot and critically injured. They ended the ride with a rally at Charlie B's, and they said it was a great way to honor their friend and fallen officer.
Get together and stand behind two families that are hurting, whose lives will both never be the same after the event that happened in Levelland. And so whatever we can do as a community to support them is important for us.
And another act of charity happening around Lubbock today are United Supermarkets teaming up with a Texas salsa brand to present a check to the Culver Foundation. Former Texas Tech basketball star Jarrett Culver accepted the gift at a United location today to support his charitable organization that aims to give back to those in need right here in Lubbock. They fund scholarships and host basketball camps for local children, all to support the city Culver was raised in. Jay's Salsa raised money for the cause by donating 50 cents from every jar sold in July, and they ended up giving over $750, which was matched in the end by United. And some good news also out of Austin this week. The Texas Workforce Commission reports the state unemployment numbers fell to 5.9% in August. About 39,000 jobs since July were added and 681,000 jobs since this time last year. And Lubbock is even doing better than the state average. Local unemployment fell to 4.3% this month, falling from 4.9% in July, and that's the most significant drop in a while. This time last year, the local rate was 5%. The state estimates out of the 165,000 Lubbockites in the labor force, about 158,000 of them are employed. And before we break tonight, we take a look to the skies. The SpaceX, the pioneering aviation company led by newfound Texan Elon Musk, has touched down with their first all-civilian flight to outer space, a voyage that may mark a turning point in our journey into the final frontier. But not for everybody, of course. SpaceX says they aim to host 6 private flights a year, and the price of a ticket, $55 million. And I don't think that in-flight drink services are included. ABC's Gio Benitez brings us the story.
This morning, that historic splashdown. The first all-civilian crew to orbit the Earth, landing safely in the Atlantic Ocean off the coast of Florida, met by recovery boats.
Inspiration 4, on behalf of SpaceX, welcome home to planet Earth.
The re-entry into the atmosphere, daring and dangerous. The exterior of the spaceship heating up to 3,500 degrees Fahrenheit as plasma envelops the Crew Dragon. The ship slowing down from 17,500 miles per hour to 350. The civilians eventually feeling 4.5 G's of force on their bodies.
When those chutes pull out, they can actually feel that stop, and they can almost feel sort of a bounce back up. He said it was remarkable, and that landing on the water was like landing on a trampoline.
The 4 civilians going on this journey with no professional astronaut on board, to a distance from Earth never reached by any other private citizen on the planet. 367 miles above the Earth, orbiting the planet about 47 times.
This is the largest window ever flown in space. We can put our head in and fit multiple crew members and see the entire perimeter of the Earth.
Billionaire Jared Isaacman commanding and funding the mission with the goal of raising $200 million for St. Jude Children's Hospital. Air Force vet Chris Zimbrowski, the mission specialist. Geoscience professor Dr. Cyan Proctor, the pilot, becoming just the 4th Black American to go to space. And 29-year-old Haley Arsenault, the youngest American in space and the first pediatric cancer survivor to make it there too.
Lots of waves, thumbs up.
Now, after spending 3 days in zero gravity, conducting experiments, speaking live from space with the children at St. Jude, and getting epic views of Earth from the ship's cupola, the 4 are safely back on planet Earth.
Gio, thank you very much. I'll book my ticket soon. And tomorrow, the Texas legislature reconvenes for this year's 3rd special session, and the race for who will run the Capitol after 2022 is already well underway. We'll take a look at one of the races quickly becoming crowded with Republicans looking to take over as the state's top attorney.
Weekdays at 5 on KMAC. Everything to stay informed and safe. The EverythingLubbock.com mobile app.
The time for new Jeep is now at Frontier and Spirit. It's Jeep Adventure Days.
Just can't beat a new Jeep.
Your adventure starts now,
Right here at Frontier on Spur 327.
And Spirit on Avenue Q.
where we're going, there are no roads.
These days, our home is more than our haven. It's become our office, classroom, and even playground. Staying home to stay well means cleaning and disinfecting regularly, and Carpet Tech can help. In addition to cleaning carpets, upholstery, tile, and air ducts, we can safely add on in-home disinfecting for as little as $75. We're spending more time at home than ever before, and keeping it clean means keeping them safe. Carpet Tech, still working, still serving, still here for you.
It's all about fall at Dollar Western Wear. New arrivals from the Horsepower Top End collection. Rough outs, new toe profiles, and exotics. Caps, tees, and casuals from all your favorites. Red Dirt, Bowie, and Twisted X. You'll find tons of new pullovers, hoodies, and lightweight jackets with bold patterns for fall. And shop our hat department featuring new felts from Resistol, American, and Charlie One Horse at Dollar Western Wear. 50th and West Loop 289, and I ain't kidding.
Lewis. Royce Lewis.
Local, live, late breaking. You're watching KMAX News at 10.
Welcome back, y'all. The Texas legislature gaveling in tomorrow for round 3 of a series of special sessions that have changed election laws, abortion access, and will soon change the state's districts that affect who represents you and where candidates run for office. And that is heating up the conversation around 2022, and the race for the Attorney General is already crowded with a slate of Republicans looking to unseat Ken Paxton. KMAX Monica Madden takes a look at the latest updates in the race for the state's top lawyer.
I'm the best person to be the Republican nominee.
Another Republican throws his hat in the ring for Attorney General.
I thought there's still room in this race for a faithful conservative fighter.
State Representative Matt Krause highlights his background as a constitutional lawyer and a founder of the House Freedom Caucus.
Whether it's pro-life, whether it's religious liberty, Second Amendment, securing the border, I've been at the forefront leading the fight in each of those ways.
But first lies ahead the battle for the Republican nomination.
It is a crowded field. The more quality challengers you get in a race, the more likely you are to have a runoff.
Quality candidates like a Bush looking to preserve his family's political legacy.
If he loses this race, you're often only as good as your last election.
Krause endorsed Paxton in 2014 and 2018, but now he says things have changed.
Some pretty serious allegations about how the office had been handled, some potentially criminal activity.
Paxton is obviously in for, the biggest political fight he's seen.
August polling from the Texas Politics Project shows Paxton's disapproval rating was slightly higher than his approval rating. But within the GOP base, his numbers remain strong.
Going into a primary, he has very high approval ratings among 2 key groups.
Politicos expect candidates to pander to the right, but have their eyes on larger themes.
Krause is hoping for a runoff. George P. Bush is hoping to win outright. Ken Paxton is hoping not to get the indictment turned into a conviction.
Thank you, Monica, and thank you, Professor Henson. When we come back, we'll take a look at your forecast to start the week.
Yes, hopefully some cooler temperatures along the way because it got hot today. Taking a look at our almanac, we were a full 10 degrees warmer than usual. Hopefully this cold front will get us back in the more fall-like conditions. More in your full forecast coming up in a few minutes.
A new time period this Sunday at 12:30 p.m. Please go to everythinglubbock.com for updated scheduling. Everything Lubbock's dining for charities. You save money and help charities at the same time. It's time for family fun at the South Plains Fair, September 24th through October 2nd. Enjoy free entertainment on all 9 days of the fair with shows like Alistair Barnswallow's Airship, Pork Chop Review, and Rocket the Robot. Find a seat and be amazed by free shows the whole family will enjoy.
With a Honda in your garage, every summer adventure leads to another. Get an incredible summer offer on a new Honda, only at the Honda Summer Sales Event.
Ready, set, go.
At Take 5, you stay in your car because we're faster than you think. Oil change is done. I didn't even finish my coffee yet.
Take 5 to stay in your car, 10-minute oil change.
Introducing new Kraft sandwiches at Slim Chickens. The Chicken Club Sandwich, the Cayenne Ranch Sandwich, the Buffalo Ranch Sandwich, or the Crispy Chicken Sandwich. The choice is yours. Download the Slim...
From the Storm Team Weather Lab, KMAC forecaster Madison Hartin.
Taking a look at Texas as a whole right now, we're seeing conditions of 82 degrees here in Lubbock locally. Very similar conditions up further in the Panhandle and Amarillo, and a little bit cooler temperatures as we start to move down there to the south of us, but not by much. But for Texas as a whole, we're definitely going to be seeing our first real taste of fall-like conditions as this cold front starts to move through, affecting a good portion of the state. Down at the Overton right now, not quite as many stars as we saw on the Slayton Skycam earlier in the evening, but still a lovely clear night over downtown Lubbock and a very beautiful view for your Saturday night or Sunday night. We're going to have a hot start to this week on Monday with temperatures being in the mid to upper 90s that day, but then that cold front coming through on Tuesday causing a really drastic temperature change. It is going to be a very quick change ahead of that really concentrated front, and of course the official start of fall on Wednesday, so that front coming in just in time. Taking a look at your highs for tomorrow, we can see that we're going to have a temperature here locally of 98 degrees in Lubbock, 90 out there in Clovis, so not quite as hot. And of course, what is really going to be hot is 103 degrees out there in Paducah. So Paducah's really going to be feeling like the dog days of summer, and similar conditions out there in Matador. But take a look for the next day and look at that. The temperature falling more than 20 degrees just overnight. Our first indications of that front are going to be the wind shifting to the southeast on later Monday. Over Monday night is when we're going to start to see that front come through. And by Tuesday, the winds will be picking up quite a bit. So it will be gusty late Monday all the way into Tuesday. But that is what is going to be bringing in these lovely fall-like temperatures for us. So enjoy that last real warm day of summer, because we might not be seeing temperatures get up that high again, at least not until next year. But it's South Plains weather. You never know. We could have one last heat wave before we get into fall temperatures proper. For tonight, we're going to be seeing a low temperature of 71 degrees, clear conditions, and the wind coming from the south at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Taking a look at your 7-day forecast, we're going to be seeing, again, sunny and hot conditions going into Monday. Tuesday, when that front comes in, we're going to be seeing some wispy clouds come through the area with that cold front. A start of fall coming on Wednesday, and I don't think that we could be thankful enough for these cooler temperatures. I know you're really excited about them, Ryan.
I am very excited. I am counting down the seconds until the official start of fall Wednesday, right?
Wednesday.
All right, we only got 3 days to go. I cannot wait for that.
Yes, and the weather will be cooperating. So it's not like when you want to start fall, but like it's still really hot outside. So like you're wearing your scarf and drinking your hot drink, but you're sweating. No, the weather will actually be cooperating, and just in time for it too.
I'm very excited. We got one more day of 98, but then we're back into cooler temperatures for the fall. When we come back, we'll hear from Eric Kelly, the sports update.
Wearing caps at Dollar Western Wear.
Now it's personal. It really is. And it's now time for West Texans, Red Raiders to all wrap our arms around each other and kind of bow up against a little adversity and show out and show the country what West Texas and Texas Tech's all about.
Well, Geico's 85 years isn't just about time, you know. It means experience. I mean, put it this way. If I told you I'd been jarring raspberry preserves for 85 years, what would you think? Well, at first, you'd be like, that has got to be some scrumptious jam. And then you'd think, he looks fantastic. I must know his skincare routine.
Geico, saving people money for 85 years.
Big bud.
Hello, I'm Attorney Dean Boyd, and I'd like to welcome you to my If You've Been Hurt in a Car Wreck painting series. Just like with painting, There's a particular process after your wreck to get the results that you want. First, we start with our not-so-happy little accident. We'll let this Van Dyke Brown represent the most important step in the process, calling me. Finally, we add in our legal team a little...
KMAC is a proud corporate partner of Texas Tech Athletics, bringing you the best coverage of Texas Tech sports. This is KMAC's Red Raider Nation with Eric Kelly. Sponsored by High Plains Periodontics.
Of the New York Jets, and so far, Texas Tech football team, not much to complain about in that category, as they kind of taken those words to heart with the win over FIU. Tech now out to a 3-0 start for the first time since 2017. Red Raiders have done it in a bunch of different ways as well. Most recently, that rout of the Panthers by 23 on Saturday, and Matt Wells obviously pretty pleased with where his team is at record-wise. And how could you not be with 3-0? Also on top of that, pretty happy with how they've responded to whatever has happened on the field.
2 games resilient, first word. You know, down 14 at half, down 7 at half. Nobody bickering, nobody griping, nobody arguing, playing together. And then having a sense of urgency in the third quarter to tie games up and to take leads and then find ways to win at the end. I think we're kind of built for a fourth quarter game. I didn't see any complacency. I see a hunger and I see a drive, and you know, the season's still young, but proud of them for doing what we set out to accomplish, and that was to be 3-0.
Meanwhile, over in the NFL, Patrick Mahomes on Sunday Night Football tonight against the Baltimore Ravens. At last check, Chiefs up 35-30. Actually, recently, Ravens just took a lead. Mahomes with 3 touchdowns so far tonight, and going to have to pull off at least one more to complete the comeback. Meanwhile, sticking in professional football, Kerry Hyder and the Seattle Seahawks taking on Tennessee today. Former Red Raider with a nice game, 4 tackles, including 3 for loss. Also recovered a fumble right here, but the Seahawks lose. Finally, over at the John Walker Soccer Complex, Tech Soccer have seen Eastern Washington. Second half, 47th minute. It's the freshman to freshman connection. Macy Blackburn into Ashley Williams. She puts one away. 1-0 Texas Tech. 53rd minute now. This time it's Jordy Har who will put the ball in the box. So it's redshirt senior to freshman as Williams again. She finishes with a hat trick. First Red Raider since Janine Becky in 2014 to accomplish that feat. And Tech wins 3-0.
This young lady is just so focused in the moment and not over her toes, not freaking out. The moment's not too big. She's very calm when she has a chance to score. That has surprised me because for a freshman, that doesn't usually come with that freshman package. It's usually kind of, you know, overly excited in front of goal. She's very calm.
I'm going to be honest, at first I was a little shaky and nervous, but again, my teammates, you know, supporting me, even the coaches, and me, making me better. And now my confidence, as an individual, is just growing every day.
Listen, we're at the best time of year, I feel like, right now. So we've got football going into conference play. Nothing against non-conference play, but conference is really where it's at. Yeah. You've got all those sports kind of transitioning to conference play all at the same time. So it's ready to get those rivalries going for the first time in the sports calendar.
You seem like you're excited. You're in a good mood. How's your fantasy doing? Did you win today? It seems like it.
Not in our work league.
I only bring it up because I'm 2-0.
Okay, so that's the only reason he brought it up. He had no idea what my mood was. He had no idea what my mood was like in any way, shape, or form. No idea how I did. All he wanted to do was.
I can't wait to play you. That'll be a good matchup.
Oh, okay. I'll remember this.
All right. Well, thank you, Eric, for that sports update. We'll be right back.
Money and help charities at the same time. Missing teeth, bleeding gums, need
implants? With close to 40 years combined experience, you need High Plains Periodontics and Implant Dentistry. As the only board-certified periodontist in Lubbock who handles both dental implants and innovative yet conservative corrective procedures for gum tissues.
Estamos aquí para ayudarle a recuperar su sonrisa.
Come visit us at High Plains Periodontics and Implant Dentistry for your complimentary evaluation.
And let us help you set the foundation for a healthy...
In the run time or the read time, so it wouldn't have any effect as long as the moss time.
Think again. Introducing the first ever AT4 lineup. Premium and capable. That's professional grade from GMC. Or get over $3,200 purchase cash on this 2021 Sierra Light Duty Crew Cab Texas Edition. Plus, current eligible GMC owners get an additional $250 purchase allowance.
See the new GMCs at your West Texas dealer.
Lubbock Appliance is your locally owned source for new appliances. Now at a new location, we're bigger and better equipped to handle your needs. We're your one-stop shop for appliances, parts, and repairs with a warehouse full of inventory. Find brand name stoves, refrigerators, washers, dryers, dishwashers, and more. Up to 12 months no interest financing and lease-to-own programs with no credit needed. Plus, you can count on us for delivery, installation, and haul away. Shop local and visit Lubbock Appliance at 4015 34th Street for all your appliance needs.
How do you make something that's already fresh even fresher? By adding fresh new things, like crisp pico de gallo for a little kick. Good thing there's been limited time pico de gallo burger at Whataburger. Available by dine-in, drive-through, curbside, and delivery. There are dreamers.
Here you go. Hold your plate. All right.
And there are achievers.
Ed, Becky, your numbers look good. Let's do this.
We're so excited to open.
Helping you turn your passion into a business is the commitment we make to our customers and the communities we serve.
That's really good.
At Citibank, our goal is to help you achieve yours.
We break down the new city budget where they saved and spent money with Councilman Randy Christian and a look ahead to the redistricting fight in Austin.
Tomorrow might be the day to break out those winter coats, even though it's not going to feel like it. That cold front is coming, and it's going to drop our temperatures back down into the high 70s as our high fairly quickly. So fall weather is fast approaching. So what are you guys looking forward to when fall comes?
Exactly what you said, 78 degrees. I'll take that every day of the week.
Breaking out the sweaters and the scarves and the pumpkin spice lattes. That's what I'm looking forward to. Brian is as well.
Apparently, yes, the man loves pumpkin spice.
He is a giant pumpkin spice latte.
I did not get into those conversations with him. I guess I'll have something for the water cooler next time.
We can ask him when he's back here tomorrow. That's all we have time for. Thanks for watching and have a great week.